welcome to Friendship and Joy with me, Carin, today. I wanted to talk about some things that we all have. I guess it's our UFOs, the dreaded UFO. Unfinished projects. I have this sweater. I think I've talked about it in the past, but I've actually never shown it, and I don't know why. I just don't finish it. It's almost done, because here I have the front piece done. It's just a simple stripy sweater. It's going to be a raglan sleeve sweater, and it's a very flimsy, kind of loose, thin material. And this is how far I've gotten on the back piece. And then I just have the sleeves left to do and to finish it. And why I don't finish it, I don't know. Maybe because I have made a few of these before, and somewhere along the line I just got bored. I have all intentions of actually finishing it one day, but it has been retired to a UFO status. It used to be my work in progress, my WIP, and now it is my UFO. I don't know how long it's been laying there for. A few years. Maybe one day I'll pick it back up again. It's silly of me to not finish, really, but I have so many other things that are so much more important and fun and exciting to do. Another UFO of mine, it's actually, I don't have a pattern for this one. It is just a little tiny one of those triangular shawls that I just started in a self-striping yarn from Drops. I think it's Drops Delight yarn, I think it's called. And it's quite lovely. It's just knitted in a plain, I think this is called a bee stitch, when you just slip one and then on the back side you just purl and then you stagger it. It's actually a nice, if you can see it, it's actually a pretty neat looking little stitch. Maybe one of these days that will be finished too. Of course I have my work in progress that is on the needles at the moment, and I'm gonna show you that in a little while because I am so excited about this project. Before that, I just wanted to show you a finished project, an FO. This one you've seen. You know how excited I got about my little soldatnat top, and I cast on. I never showed you the finished project of the Swedish one that I made in blue and yellow and white, and I think that one turned out quite lovely. It's a little folded there, but yeah, I'm really pleased with how these turned out. Unfortunately, I knitted in the yarn that I had, which is a little thicker than what the pattern describes, so it gets to be quite thick of a short sleeve sweater, so I don't know when I'm gonna use that. But I guess I could use it with a shirt underneath it, and when the weather is a little cooler. And then I have, oh, I didn't even bring that up. Hold on, I'll be right back. So I finished the sweater, and the pattern is called Hjartalopi by Amy Gleixner, and it is an Icelandic sweater. Now, there we go. It turned out really, really nice. I like it. The only thing I regret now is when you knit with a new yarn and you actually don't know how it's dyed. In the skeins, when I looked at them, they all looked the same, and then I wound them up and it all looked same, and what I should have done that I did not know at the time was I should have staggered, because even though I have two of the same colorway, one is more variated and one is more solid. So in order to fix that problem, normally is that you stagger, you take two of the same color, and then you knit one round with one skein and one round with the other, and that way you have unevenness all the way through. So one is smooth and the other one is uneven. And I did not notice that until way too late. However, I am very pleased with how the pattern and how the whole sweater turned out. Is a beautiful, beautiful pattern and a fun knit by Amy Gleixner. And I think I'm gonna make another one because it was a fun one to do. And this one is knitted from the bottom up. So if you're anything like me, kind of a little impatient and I get bored very quickly, doing the fun part, which is the yoke at the top, makes me knit that much faster just to get to the fun part. Otherwise I have a tendency to get a little bored. But another thing, I love the yarn, is so wonderful and it feels so good. However, the white part, after I washed it, I did a cold quick wash, it bled through a little bit. The purple bled through into the white. I don't know if you can actually see that there, but there was a little bit of running in the color. And that's another thing. I mean, I've never had that happen to me before, but this is the second time that from this brand, I don't want to mention names because I don't want to be negative here, but it's the second time that I've had a bleeding problem from this indie dyer. The first one I noticed because as I was knitting, my hands were all pink. And I was thinking, well, I've knitted too much. And then I realized, no, it's the yarn that is coloring off in my hands. So, of course, I was very careful and I quickly kind of soaked that in cold water to whatever, just to bleed out a little bit of that. And then I continued, so I actually didn't ruin the garment. But it was also knitted in the same one, so it didn't bleed into each other. This one, since it's just a regular solid color and nothing came off in my hands and nothing looked or felt different about this yarn, I did not expect that to bleed through a little bit. So lesson learned. I guess whenever you go with a smaller indie yarn and you're gonna do the solid color, it might be a good idea to stagger two skeins just so that you don't end up with that color variation. I'm just gonna wear this and pretend it was meant to be like that. So I'm still very pleased with how this sweater turned out, so I'm not gonna complain too much about it. Oh, one more thing I just wanted to mention about that green sweater was that the pattern in the body turned out pretty much close to size, but the sleeves are super narrow. I don't know if it's me and my gauge. Usually I have a loose gauge. I tend to knit everything a little bit too big, but this was, I had to severely stretch the sleeves just to be able to, at the very bottom here. So bear in mind, you might want to, because this is knitted from the bottom up, you might want to cast on with a few more stitches at the bottom and then just increase to what it says at the top, because it does fit nicely in the shoulder and the body and whatever. It was just that the sleeves were unusually tight. So bear in mind if you ever wanted to do that pattern. It was a fun one. I can link all the patterns I'm talking about in the description below. So this was Hjarta Lopi Icelandic Sweater by Amy Gleixner. Moving on. You've seen my flusy cardigan that I wore in the last video. Of course, I made another one. This variation is slightly shorter in the body but longer sleeves, so I thought this was good for fall. I don't know if you can actually, I'm gonna stand up so you can see it. It's just a nice boxy little cardigan, nice to easy to put on over a tank top or to wear it, and even on a summer night I think you can wear it as on a cool evening. It's kind of nice to put on a little cardigan. Now moving on to what's on my needles right now. I am so excited, I can barely stand it. Have you ever read a good book, like a really good book that you just dive right on into and you're so gripped by that book that you can't stop reading and you're reading too fast, but at the same time you don't want it to end because it's so good and you're gonna feel sad when it's over? That's how I feel about knitting this sweater right now. It is the Trouville sweater and it looks like that. Gorgeous, gorgeous. It can be knitted as a cardigan or a sweater, and I'm doing the sweater style without the steeked opening. Trouville, and it's by Sophie O'Kara. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, But what a fun knit. So this is absolutely perfect to just use up all of those little balls of yarn that's just laying around that you have no use for, you know, like all bunch of little different colors, because in the yoke, since there's so many color changes, you don't need a lot of yarn. The only thing you need to measure out is the yarn for the body. As long as every yarn is in about the same weight, like thickness, I guess you call it, which is fingering weight or fine strand of yarn, your typical type of sock yarn, like this type of thickness to it. I have mixed a little bit of different coarseness to the yarn. Some have more sheen to them, somehow are a little bit more coarse, and oh my gosh, it is so much fun to knit. I can't stop. I have to now apologize to my family for neglecting cooking dinner, because it's like, oh, dinner time already. But look at how this is turning out. It is so much fun. I haven't quite decided yet what I am going to do for the body in the stripes. I have this white yarn, which I have quite a bit of. It's slightly thicker though, so I don't know if I can maybe stretch this out, but I think I might do this white yarn. It's a cascade yarn mixed together with a navy and do navy and white stripes, or I might continue with my yellow, orange, and darker orange. Might do alternating 3 different colors with the white in the stripy part. When I get there, I'll decide. That's the beauty. There are no rules. I make up the rules. I decide. But what a fun knit. And so far, it's actually not that hard. The pattern is a fairly large repeat, or I meant a fairly quick repeat, so it's easy to memorize the color pattern in this. So I have been a little bit obsessed with this particular pattern, and I cannot wait to continue. I noticed it. I was watching, there's a Swedish pair of ladies. They are called Stickerian, a podcast on YouTube, and I was watching one of their episodes, and they were both holding up theirs, and they're actually doing a knit along with their followers. And at the time I was like, oh, I need to do this, but I was 2 projects. I was working on this one and I had that one yet to do, so I was not able to jump on to their knit along thing. But of course I immediately went to download the pattern. All of the patterns that I've shown you are available at Ravelry. They do cost money, so you have to pay for them. They're downloadable, but it's so worth it. You know, good design is worth paying for. That's how I see it. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep on knitting this now, and when it's finished I'll show it to you, and I can guarantee you it won't be the one and only I have. But I love the idea of using up, because I have a bunch of little yarn just laying around and waiting. I may not have enough to do a full project with a couple of colors, so they've been just laying around waiting for this moment, I guess, to use up what you have. So for this particular sweater, I'm not buying any new yarn. I'm just using up old stuff that I have laying around. So yeah, that's my most favorite WIP. Now I'm gonna tell you about another UFO. I don't know if I should even tell you this story. I'm talking about a real UFO, meaning an unidentified flying object. This summer at the cottage, I saw some strange lights in the sky over the lake at around 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not kidding. Of course, I'm not saying it's extraterrestrial, but it was something I can't identify. So I'm asking if anybody who lives near Lake Erie, if they've ever seen strange blinking lights in the night sky. This was odd. I woke up one night around 4 o'clock in the morning because the kids were sleeping in a tent that night, and I thought I heard them awake talking. So of course I go up from my bedroom window to look down and to listen, and it turns out to be just the geese squawking. So it wasn't the kids, they were still sleeping. And as I'm looking out from my second bedroom window high up in the sky, I see a little blinking light. The light looked like a star, and it was blinking on, off in a humongous circle, perfect round circle like that. And then it went straight northeast. And I was thinking, what the heck was that? What did I just see? I put on some clothes, I grabbed my phone and I quickly ran down to try to film this. And sure enough, I got a couple of blinks, but not in that perfect circle. And it's very hard to see. I can see them like little blinking lights. So now, of course, I'm trying to figure out what this is. And I'm going down the elimination process. So first, I know it's not fireflies because they have different color. They're more like yellowy greenish light, and this was more, just looked like a star. And and also fireflies are closer to the trees and the bushes, and this was in July, and fireflies are more in season in June. So they had stopped, and they also don't blink like that at 4 o'clock in the morning usually. It's more at dusk they're coming out. So nope, no fireflies. And then of course it wasn't a satellite, because they are sort of solid more, well, it wasn't a regular satellite anyways, that are going solid across the sky. It wasn't a meteor or a shooting star or anything, because they streak more. This was a perfect circle, blinking, blink, 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 blink. And it wasn't an airplane, I know that. First of all, it was 4 o'clock in the morning, not a single sound in the sky, completely silent. And they look different. Those lights are different. I've seen airplanes many times, and they looked completely different from what this was. Don't think it was a drone. What are they gonna film at 4 o'clock in the morning? And there was no sound, and there was also very, very high up. So my closest thing that I think this could be, if it's a Starlink satellite, you know, Elon Musk shot up a whole bunch of satellites for him, whatever, and they're called Starlink. And I know a lot of people have gotten confused by, I'm looking at the wrong, there. A lot of people have gotten confused by the Starlink satellite because it's something new and they haven't seen them before. But from what I've Googled and seen, the Starlink satellite, they all come in a train, and they don't blink. They just like slowly move across the night sky in a long string of pearl kind of thing. And this was not that, because this was, and they come at 4 o'clock in the morning, so that's logical. It must have been that. But like I said, this was blinking in a perfect circle like that, in a huge circle, and then it went northeast. So if somebody has seen something like that and know what it is, please, 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 I'm dying to find out what that could have been. And yeah, let me know. Or even if you don't know what it is, let me know anyways. I just want to know, because my family thinks I'm seeing things. And I know what I saw. And I'm not saying it's extraterrestrial. I'm just saying this is something I can't identify. So officially it's a UFO, because I can't identify it. And until next time, take care. Bye. Hello and welcome to Friendship and Joy with Carin today. Where do I look? Oh, that feels so good. There. Hi. Feels really good, but it's not easy to do alone. Best little thing ever. Okay. Ah, you don't need to see this. Ooh. What the heck was this one called now? God, it's hot. I'm not gonna strip. I'm not gonna strip. I'm just gonna flap. Oh, it's so hot. You don't need to see that.